Welcome back. When it comes to building a profitable cattle operation, it pays to maximize your forage resources so you can improve your herd's productivity and keep your feed expenses as low as possible. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter takes us to Middle Tennessee for more on the importance of improving forage quality.
For cow-calf producers, maintaining their forage base and the condition of their cows is essential to keeping their herd productive. But every operation faces different challenges. For example, Bill Topper has been around agriculture most of his life, but his 800-acre farm in Middle Tennessee is a place he and his wife just bought a couple of years ago.
The pastures, when we drove through the place with the realtor, and he drove us around on a four-wheeler, and I can tell you that the weeds were so high that there were often times where we would drive across a field with the four-wheeler, you couldn't see where you're going. And you know, you really had to literally, pardon the pun, see through the weeds to be able to envision what it could be, you know, as a really good place to raise cattle. But now we're in the process as a full-blown cattle operation. It's taken us about 2 years to get to where we are today. We're about 175 brood cows, and all in all, with heifers, registered bulls that we backlot and will sell this coming fall, the first batch, that we're almost 400 head on the place.
Also in Tennessee, Lester Hardaway has faced a different set of problems. On his operation, a flood destroyed years of hard work in improving his pasture and forage resources.
Back before the flood, we had the capability of grazing 175 mama cows. Since the flood, we had to drop back to less than 100 on the same amount of land. And when you're selling this beef, I don't care if it's the genetics or what, all you're selling is grass. And so the better the grass is, the better the cows do. And so with the last year, we got our hay ground back up to where it needed to be in production, and we reseeded about 80 acres of grass, and that was in our first phase of the 3-year program, reseeding and trying to get our weed under control. The weeds is playing a hard part on these cattle. I mean, it's just taking its toll on our pastures.
And with record high grain prices in the past few years, all producers have had a big incentive to minimize feed purchases by improving their grass and forage.
For the producers that are trying to maintain weight on cows, you know, you have the option of trying to do it on a forage-based diet or a concentrate-based diet. You can do it most economically on a forage-based diet, because one thing that I think that farmers have lacked doing is we've gotten so caught up on commodity products that we have really forgotten the fact that we have a huge resource that our cows walk around on every day. And by better utilizing those, that's all the nutrients these cows need. We've seen cows that have a body condition score of 6 or better, and all they're doing is eating grass. But it's the type of grass and type of forages we have out there available for them. And that's very important. Clean pastures, nutritious pastures, you know, utilizing your pastures by rotational grazing.
Dr. Clark says body condition scoring, or BCS, is a valuable way to measure a cow's health and a key to enhancing productivity.
Nutrition is essential in order to get those cows, plays a huge part in fertility. So body condition scores, we know that by increasing body condition scores, we increase conception rates. If cows are not getting bred, they're not going to calve. So it's essential for us to make sure that we have cows at an optimal body condition score so we can get calves on the ground.
In fact, unless a producer is willing to pay high feed bills, having enough grass to keep cows in good body condition is critical. And there's a high price to pay when forage and nutritional value are lacking.
One thing that we do know is that in the nutrition hierarchy, the most important thing is maintaining the cow's personal self. So reproduction, lactation, all of those are secondary. To the cow, they're not a necessity. So if we have a cow that's of a low BCS score, all of her nutrients is going to go to herself. You know, she's got to maintain. So that sets us back, 1, in raising a calf, and 2, in rebreeding. Reproduction to a cow is luxury. So only any excess is going to go towards helping her be reproductively sound. So it's essential that we have cows in a situation where they are nutritionally fit to take care of themselves, to raise a baby, and to rebreed.
The way we look at when the first bite of grass the cow eats is to just maintain herself. The second bite goes to her raising what she's got on her side, which is a calf that's the meal ticket for everybody. It pays the bills. The third thing goes to get herself in condition to rebreed. And hopefully there's enough nutrients, enough grass that she can go ahead, and she's a growing animal until they get about 5 years old. So hopefully that will let her go ahead and get the extra growth that she needs.
Welcome back. Let's return to Tennessee and reporter Brian Baxter with more on ways to maximize forage quality for your cows.
Weeds are a battle nearly all producers face when trying to improve or simply maintain their forage resources so they meet their herd's nutritional needs. Bill Topper started by identifying his biggest weed problem, which in this part of the country was buckbrush.
That was a weed that we had to address first. And and how we attacked that weed was with a product called Chaparral. We knew we wouldn't get it on one pass because the problem was that bad, but we've sprayed every inch of this ranch now with that product to wipe out the buckbrush. And the second pass, we've really cleared up, I think, at least 95% of that particular stemmy-based weed. You know, we were in some pastures this morning that you'd be hard-pressed to find a weed. You can find one maybe every 100 yards or so, but we're at the point this year with a pasture like that we may not have to go in and spray this year. So we get a year off from spraying, and we can go concentrate on fields that the weed control isn't quite as good. But the canopy of pasture grass there is now so thick, so dense that weeds are really getting starved out.
Dow AgroScience's specialized field team works closely with cattle producers like Bill to identify weeds, review product options, and recommend pasture improvement programs that build forage quality over time.
Prescription is the key word here. It's not going out and doing the shotgun effect where you just go out there and say, I've got weeds, you pull the trigger on whatever herbicide is the cheapest, and then you've got weeds again, that year later on or the next year. Prescribing is key because yes, cattle prices are high, but that doesn't mean we need to be foolish with our money. Let's be wise with our money so we can put more money back in our pockets.
No doubt, controlling weeds and improving forage quality involves an additional cost up front. But for these producers, it is an investment that pays off.
I think that they need to start by looking at what they have available to them. In my opinion, that's what's going to make them money. If they have forage out there, if they have land to put cows on, they have land to grow grass on for them to eat. And that's the way they're going to be able to put more money in their pocket.
When you drive by our place, we want people to look at our cattle and, and basically say, "Oh, there's some nice cattle." And when they drive by our pastures and they look at those, they say, "Those are some of the nicest pastures we've ever seen." It's not overgrazed. It's well taken care of. We can't find a weed on the place. I mean, that's really the dream.
In Middle Tennessee, I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Dow AgroScience's full range of products can fit nearly any rangeland or pasture situation. Learn more at rangeandpasture.com. More importantly, Dow AgroSciences wants to hear your story. They launched TogetherWeGrowGrass.com, where you can share your favorite stories and photos from your own ranch. Be sure to visit that website or our own website at cattlemantocattleman.org.